All right, welcome to Three Blondes, One Battle. How are you two gentlemen doing today?
Good,
Doing
good. How
good,
about
doing
you?
good.
Good, good. So today on the show, I have two guests. I'm super excited to talk about the topic just because it's actually something that I had just gotten done by Deric. And this is part of David's program. And really, what we're going to talk about today is why knowing your DNA. Why that's important as far as your genetic markers, how it can influence metabolism, how it can influence certain foods, knowing that it's going to trigger kind of an inflammation response or even weight gain. I mean, I got the fat genes. Like, come on now.
Yeah,
So
same
just
here.
so just knowing these things, it can identify predispositions for conditions, which Deric is going to
Yeah.
tell his story about that, which is fascinating to me. And then finally, David is here to talk about how knowing this actually will benefit you when it comes to your own fitness regimen and getting stronger by knowing your DNA biomarkers. It can actually really boost your results when it comes to exercising.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show, and I
Thanks.
will let Deric actually.
All right.
Let's let
Cool.
Deric go first.
So I'll just tell a little bit about my story. Let me just give me 1 second. Let me just open this up here. All right. Well, I originally found the DNA test just looking for ancestry results, right? Like the typical 23andMe is what I did. And I did this in 2017. And on my results, I just got my ancestry. I didn't get anything about the health, for example. And I got into the DNA stuff after I got diagnosed with lupus in 2019. And I on my results, doing my health results, it said that I had a 30% chance of getting lupus, which is just crazy. 2 years later, I ended up getting it, and it just opened my mind of how accurate the DNA results are for your health. And David's actually my dad. He has MS, and I had a 30% chance of getting MS as well. I ended up getting lupus, which is just absolutely crazy. But after I got lupus, I started getting into the genetic testing, blood work, all that stuff to optimize my body. And I was really, really sick. I was bedridden for like months. I ended up getting blood work, figuring out I was low on vitamins and stuff. Got into the DNA stuff, saw that I was predisposed to lupus, MS, low vitamin D, low B12, high homocysteine, all these different things that could trigger these autoimmune diseases, right? So basically, I got into that, started researching a lot, and my dad David does the workout programs with Optimal Body, and we kind of combine forces and combine the training program stuff with the DNA, and yeah, we're getting awesome results for people. It's unbelievable, but I'm just like, it's my own testimony of how accurate that is, and now I'm doing results for other people, and it's also showing the same similar things. Like when we did your results, right, Nikki? We saw MS like 10 times the chance of getting MS. And that was your biggest thing that we found, and that's what you ended up getting. And it's just unbelievable. Your DNA really is basically the building blocks of who you are. It's your blueprint, right? So imagine you're a computer, and everything in your DNA is like your computer code, right? The lines of code that create you. Sometimes things are in your DNA, certain things called a polymorphism, right? An SNP, single nucleotide polymorphism, and it's just a genetic mutation on one spot of your genome. It's one little specific section, right? In different amino acids, the mutations will cause a different amino acid to take that spot. Is how it kind of works, and depending on which one you have, will determine certain health things, and it'll actually basically it'll show that in your physiology. So yeah, what we do is we end up looking at these SNP, single nucleotide polymorphisms, and we have an awesome database that we use. We connected to all these scientific databases all over the world, so we have all access to all this data of people that did studies. They had these mutations, they have these diseases, and we're able to get kind of like a ratio statistic of how much that increases your odds of getting it or decreases it, because there's mutations that are really good for you as well. So, but yeah, essentially your DNA controls kind of everything about you. The things you're predisposed, like we we're talking about, your vitamin, the way you absorb vitamins and the way your body makes them too. So some certain mutations will create more of something, others will create less, right? Or you could have a mutation that causes a higher enzyme level that breaks down that vitamin, right? So basically, we test for these polymorphisms. The DNA test is, you could use any DNA test really. You just need access to your raw DNA file. So like I have one of the tests right here just to show you. It's just one of these basic tests, family tree DNA. This one's specifically about the ancestry, but all we got to do is download your raw DNA file, upload it into our program that I developed over like the past couple years. I've been working on it, adding new stuff. I have a whole bunch of new stuff I'm adding for exercise and stuff. But yeah, so you got to get your raw DNA file. We upload it. We generate your report. And what we're doing for the clients is it takes about an hour and a half. We go through all your results, everything about the vitamins, the supplements, what you need, what your body specifically needs, how you should train, rep ranges, if you're more of an endurance athlete or strength, muscle fiber types, tendon strength. And then, yeah, the predispositions to diseases is a big part as well. We'll know what to test for, what you need to test for when you do your blood work by doing the DNA results. And, but yeah, that's mostly what it consists of.
Yeah, and hey, let me interrupt real fast. So the 23andMe or, any of those tests that you get, and they send you the information, it comes through and you don't see anything. And you open it up and there's just numbers and there's letters and you're like, what is this? I can't believe I just paid for it.
Right.
So you're going to kind of feel the same way if you don't purchase, if you don't invest in Deric. So Deric has his program, like he was saying, that he created. If you don't invest in that, you're basically paying for figuring out, are you European or do you have African American in you?
It's just ancestry. Those tests are just ancestry. You could you could upgrade. It's really expensive. It's like $100 a month. You could pay to upgrade to get the health stuff. It's super basic. It's really basic. They got some predispositions to diseases and stuff. They do like one thing for the muscle fiber type.
Yeah, so it's like you pay per, and so it can get very pricey as opposed to just paying to kind of see. And I actually wanted to show people just kind of real quickly, those that are actually watching this. We'll just kind of like go over really fast, like some of the things that kind of we're talking about. This was mine. It talks about everything from diabetes to Alzheimer's to PCOS. It goes over cardiovascular. It'll go over, your telomeres. It'll have miscellaneous information, the MS, that's, part of it as well, the cancer panel. But if you get these, this doesn't make sense to you. It's just letters and it's just numbers. But by actually having somebody read it and doing what you said that, you provide, then it starts to make sense.
Yeah, the report there with the numbers and stuff is kind of highly technical, right? So I go over each of those, but on your results, you'll have another tab that breaks it down into like easy to understand and read charts showing like your levels and stuff. So so we also give that as well. So you'll be able to understand it easier that way.
Let me jump in for a second because, a lot of people don't understand all these big terms and all this stuff. What basically happens when you get these DNA tests is you get a lot of information, okay? But you don't know what that information means other than, like Nikki said, oh, I'm European or I'm Hispanic or whatever that is. That's not going to help you with your health.
No.
So what Deric created is a program that when you take this DNA information and you input it into his program, we're able to see everything that happens to your body. what possibilities are, what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are. It's at the highest level of DNA analysis possible.
Yeah, hundreds of traits. We go over hundreds of traits, not just 10 or 20 like some of the other Ancestry or 23andMe health offer. Basically.
Well, the other thing that we do is, Deric will be on the phone with whoever enrolls in the program and go over everything. So he's explaining it. He's giving them the details about what everything means. So there's no guesswork, and they're no longer confused. With that information, okay, at the highest level of DNA analysis that we can provide, we then give you the highest level of fitness program that there is, which is Optimal Body. Now, Optimal Body works for anybody. It's not just for people with MS. If you're just looking to be in the best condition of your life, or you're an old man like me and you want to, I'm 66 and I train like I'm 36 because I analyzed everything with Deric. We realized what things may be missing and what the best parts of my Optimal Body program work for me better than maybe somebody else. And so we created my workout based on all this, and I feel great. I have energy. I'm able to train harder and longer and more intense and do the things that I need to do. So when you combine the highest level of DNA analysis with the highest possible training methods that there are, which is Optimal Body, and Optimal Body, by the way, is not just normal workouts and we say, here's some workouts. These are training methods that I've developed over the last 15 years that are scientifically proven to give you the best results possible, no matter what limitations you have, no matter what goals you have, no matter what age you are. Those training methods combined with the DNA, we're able to give you a specific program that works for you. So individually, like we did with Nikki, I took some of the training methods that I have in even one of our boot camps, and I said, this is going to work based on Nikki's DNA results. This is going to work better for her to be able to overcome the limitation she has with MS. Also, it's for other things that are going on in her body. It's taking her body to the highest level of conditioning. Okay, so it's not just here's DNA test, here's some workouts. We go over this. We analyze it. We're spending hours when we're not with the client, making sure that we have the right program, that the DNA tests are accurate for what we want. And then we create these.
It's customized. It's 100% tailored to your genetics, your body composition. There's no guesswork like basically any other program, and there's nothing else out like this really. I have a really good testimony myself. Because I got lupus, I mean I used to be really strong. I used to do powerlifting. I was able to squat 500 pounds almost many years ago. And then I got lupus in November 4th, 2019. I had my first flare up, and I lost all that strength so quick. Within like a couple months, I could barely do just a body weight squat. So it took me many years to kind of build my strength back up. And I was just stuck for a while. My squat was around 200 something pounds. I used my genetic results, and I changed my rep and set ranges and frequency that works in my body. And within a few months, I got up to 400 pounds. And I can't even believe it because I haven't been that strong since before I got, sick. And it's unbelievable how like accurate it is. It's just mind blowing.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you look at Deric, who's 30 years old, and he's using Optimal Body training with his DNA results. And he went from being able to squat 200 and something pounds to almost 500 pounds again. At my age, at 66, I squat 500 pounds. I do each arm, I do 100-pound dumbbell rows. And you got to remember, I have MS. So the MS, it doesn't even affect me anymore because of the way I train and because of the supplementations that I use and everything else based on my DNA. But not just, like I said, not just the average DNA. It's how deep we go into analyzing the DNA so that we can pinpoint every single thing that's going to help optimize your health and your fitness.
Yeah, I think the supplement part is something that a lot of I think a lot of people struggle with. They don't know, what they should be consuming. They don't know what else extra they need. And so, Deric, I think you should tell the story about that supplement that you discovered, because didn't you read your DNA a certain way, and tell me what
Yes.
you like. Remind me what you told me.
Okay, so you're talking about my homocysteine levels,
Yes.
right? Homocysteine, it's an amino acid that your body produces, and it metabolizes. It's used in vitamin B12 and B6 metabolism, and you need it. Like it's a part of your your body's function. Like you do need homocysteine. If it's too high, it could cause autoimmune diseases, heart disease, Alzheimer's, just tons of stuff, diabetes. It's really bad if it's high. So there's a polymorphism, which is the genetic mutation, the SNP, that's that one line on your results.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that causes you to not be able to break down homocysteine. You break it down, a reduced amount of ability to break it down, essentially. So depending on which one you have, you could be normal, have about 60% of the function of it, or about 40%, right? And mine was 60%. So when I did my blood work, and I never tested for homocysteine before, so I had no idea. The doctors don't really even know what that is, and they'll never test for that on a normal blood panel, right? So because I looked at my results and I saw homocysteine is probably high, I'm like, oh no. And I looked into it and I read how dangerous it is to have it high. And it kind of ties into how I got my autoimmune disease in the first place. Yeah, I was genetically predisposed to it, but it doesn't mean you're going to get it. There's tons of stuff on here that it says I have a chance of getting, but it doesn't mean you're going to get it. But certain lifestyle factors and nutrient levels and stuff could cause that, or inflammation levels, or tons of things could actually trigger it. It's in your body dormant, and then something can trigger it. So that might be one of the things that caused it, right? By having that level so high for so long. Mm-hmm. So I got my blood work. Homocysteine was like 3 times the top of the range, which is really bad. To lower it, most people take vitamin B12 and B6, which is folate, I believe. So folate and B12. I took those. It lowered my level down a little bit, but it was still over the range. It was still high. And my B12 and folate levels were awesome. They were high. Like there's not much more I could have done. So there's a supplement called creatine, and there's a specific form we use called creatine hydrochloride, which absorbs better and it doesn't have any stomach issues. The monohydrate's the really popular, common, cheap one. I can't take it because it just gives me like bloating. So I just can't even take it. So creatine cuts down homocysteine levels by around a half. So I did the B12, B6. It lowered it a little bit, still over the range. Added the creatine, and it lowered it perfectly in the range. So I would have never known anything like about this whatsoever, because like I said, doctors don't check for your homocysteine level. It's so specific, and they don't really know what that is. By looking at my DNA results, to try to figure out what the heck was going on with my body, right? I was able to discover the homocysteine problem I had, and I got the blood work to prove it, and I took the supplements, and it helped. Did blood work again, still was too high, added the creatine. Now I'm perfect, and I feel so much better. Like it's just like my inflammations, I don't get like flare-ups or anything now. I really feel like a new person. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, this is in general, this is you just taking charge of your own health. So when it comes to reading these labs, so you're going to go over the report. Are you also going to provide, so how do they go from that step of like you reading the report to actually going to get blood work for something?
Yeah. So the DNA results, the testing, the reporting, the programs we build, the supplement regimen, diet that's specific to your body, and the exercises. Beyond that, we could also do the testing, the blood work. We could get that for you, have it sent to LabCorp. You just go to LabCorp, go in there and just do the test, and you'll get the results. So we could do the blood work for you as well. But it's an extra thing outside of this specific test package that we have. But we do have it as well.
Look, if someone has coverage, medical coverage,
Mhm.
they can usually get blood work done and it's covered. There are people that it's not covered, and then we can assist them to get that blood work.
Right.
It's really important to understand also the supplementation is not something to take lightly. I know people always say, well, people just sell supplements, and people that they'll tell you you're just wasting money because it goes out of your system. Yes, if you buy cheap supplements that don't work, you're wasting your money. We have connections to the highest level of supplements in the market, and we get things at discounts too, so we can help people to get those supplements that they need at a good price. And you can't do everything together without having the right, connections to put it together. And that's what we did. So it's not just, we go to GNC and we buy supplements. You can't do that. You're wasting your
The
money.
quality's garbage, first of all. Amazon as well. It's really cheap
just
stuff.
like the DNA testing. DNA testing is generic, really. I mean, go to 23andMe and all these other places, but that's not really what the issue is. It's analyzing it. It's what you do with that DNA knowledge. It's what you do with, hey, I need supplements. Where do you get them? If you don't get them in the right place, you're wasting your money. If you get a DNA test and you can't analyze it, or it doesn't go diving deep into the things that we go into, you're basically wasting your money, unless you just want to know where your family's from.
Yeah.
Right. That's one
like
thing. I also am very into the ancestry stuff, and I help people with that too. So if you do need that, I could do that. But
sorry we're making fun of you. We apologize. That's clearly not David and I's thing.
But yeah, so we use a specific brand of supplements that are pharmaceutical grade that doctors use them. So this is what they give their patients. It's not, this cheap stuff that you get from Amazon for $8 and stuff. But with our discount, it ends up being like an awesome price still, right? Mm-hmm. So that's also very important, because I have tried tons and tons of brands, and I've taken the supplements, I get my blood work, and it doesn't change. And I'm like, well, that just proves the quality's bad. And a lot of these companies get exposed. There's this one big company that does these super greens food, and they got exposed of, and they're like $1 billion company. They got exposed of underdosing or not even putting in the ingredients they say they're putting into it. And it's crazy. And they're selling it super expensive. So stuff is all like lab tested, and it's what the doctors get for their patients.
The other thing is, Deric, is our creatine, where we get our creatine from is from the source. So the man and the scientist that created creatine hydrochloride is a supporter of my charity. And he went, and then he's the only person that creates creatine in the United States. All the other creatine, the monohydrate, it's all made in China. And then here, and you don't know exactly what you're getting. And the monohydrate, it's not a good quality anyway. So you want to go with the hydrochloride. His hydrochloride is 100% pure, because he's the one that created creatine hydrochloride. He has the patent to it.
Wow.
So we get it from the source. So you're getting the best creatine, but also the best creatine hydrochloride that is in the marketplace.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and going back to just reading, these reports, let's just say the BRCA gene, if you have a bunch of markers and you're highly prone to get breast cancer, then you're going to take that information and you're going to share that with your primary care provider and say, hey, I actually want to be tested a little bit more. Or, even the part where it says you're prone to kidney stones more. Well, then you should know kind of, okay, if I'm prone to kidney disease, I might want to dig into that a little bit more on my own. Right. I just think it's super beneficial to know stuff like this. And I do think that you guys as a group, as a team, a combo, you guys are the smartest people I know in this industry for a one-stop shop for knowing kind of the supplement part, the fitness part, if you want to get healthier and stronger. And I also think that it is for kiddos. Like David made you do this when you were 20, you said 25?
Yeah. I think I was 23 or so. Yeah, I was 23. And then that was, what was it? 2017. I bought the test just for the ancestry, just out of curiosity. I wasn't even involved in this stuff at all. And I didn't really know anything. So I just did it for the ancestry. And then I started doing research and found out you could actually, do like a health report, and I was reading the studies showing like I could, I'll take my DNA file, I'll open it, and I'll see like the lines of code, and I'll go compare it to the studies. Now I got a program I made that does that automatically, so you don't have to do that. But that's what I did, and I was reading the literature, the clinical literature, and the studies, and seeing like, I was looking like, checking out my results, and the biggest things I had was MS risks. Was MS, lupus, actually Crohn's disease, and I think celiac was on there as well. So my dad has MS, I got lupus, my brother has Crohn's disease, and my sister has celiac. So it's scary how accurate it is. Yeah. But like you said, if you get that knowledge, like especially for like the breast cancer, BRCA1 or 2, they have another one as well that we test for that a lot of people don't know about. You could go take that knowledge and go just get the mammogram, and it's very simple, and at least you could catch stuff early, and that's just, you have such a better chance of, getting rid of that disease and overcoming it if you catch it earlier, or if you could prevent it in certain instances. Like if I didn't know I was genetically low on vitamin D, and we know that causes autoimmune diseases too.
The vitamin D3,
Yep.
K2. And so I think like even, my 16-year-old, if I get this done, which I will, I want to know what he's predispositioned for, and then he can geek out like you did, Deric. I mean, here's the thing, like at the end of the day, if you want to know more about what's going on in your body, you might not want to know it at 16 or 17, but guess what? I bet he'll come back when he's 20 and be like, hey mom, that thing that you had me do, can I take a look at it? I do think that is beneficial. And then that'll also, as parents listening, that'll also give you more ammunition to be like, hey, you really need to start taking whatever supplement he's low. Let's just say the D3. It's like the tiniest pill. Like, look, do you want to get lupus or do you want to take the D3K2?
Right. You know what I love about what we do is that we're not only just giving people health here. We're giving them a lifestyle to follow, because they're getting workouts, they're getting nutrition, they're getting the DNA. Everything is packaged together, and we're changing people's lives because, one of the things that really makes me like kind of mad about the fitness industry is you see all these experts out there throwing out these YouTubes to do this and do that. And then people are running to the gym and trying to follow these programs, and they're in the gym for an hour, 2 hours even, thinking that that's the way to train, when really the way to train is a shorter period of time with higher intensity, but it has to be for you. It has to be, if you have MS, well, we're going to do this. If you've got, you're just trying to stay young because you're aging, well, we're going to shift the optimal body program for that. We are creating a lifestyle for people.
Yep.
So it's not just workouts or just wellness. It's a combination of all of it. So, you cannot lose with something like this. And yes, it costs a few dollars to do it, but it's not an exorbitant amount of money to have a game plan and a path for the rest of your life to be able to follow, to stay healthy, on the inside, and also to look your best on the outside and be able to do the things that you want to do, no matter what your current limitations are. And that's the beauty of what we do.
It's an investment. It's not an expense. A lot of people look at it like it's an expense, but it's really an investment because, I invest tons of money into my health. With all the supplements and stuff, I do the testing. It's ongoing, and I'm always investing money into it, and I don't regret that at all. It's changed my life. I mean, just back in 2019 or even a little bit after I first got diagnosed, I mean, I had like a lot of anxiety problems and like tons of problems like fatigue and stuff. And I couldn't even get on a plane to go see my dad, even just a few hour flight. I couldn't even get on a plane because it was just too much. And then after I optimized everything, now I could go I've taken 13-hour plane flights. I fly like every month, and I'm like a new person, and it totally changed my life. And now I'm doing stuff I never imagined I would be able to do. And I have energy, and, I'm able to exercise again, got my strength back, have focus and stuff and energy. Because before I was just tired all the time. I was literally sleeping all day, just in bed, just, kind of like, just bedridden and stuff. And you can't live life like that.
No, you can't. And Nikki, let's talk about MS for a second, because you know how fatiguing MS is and how it can limit us. So I get up in the morning, 5 to 5:30. I go to the gym and I train like I'm 30 years younger than I am. And then all day I'm working with people. I'm training people like this live in 10 different countries. I do that until, 5, 6 o'clock at night, depending on how many people I'm working with during the day. But it starts in the morning and goes to the night. And then I run the MS Fitness Challenge charity on top of it in the evening and make sure everything's running well. Today, I actually got up at 3:30 in the morning because my dog woke me up. And I've been up since 3:30. Now, do I look like I'm tired? It's now here in California going on 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I still have more people to train. I'm not even tired. And this is because of what I've done by altering the way I work out. So I'm not exhausting myself in the gym for no reason. My workouts are done quickly and I get the same results. And as you can see, I still have some muscle on me at 66. I'm not looking like I'm hunched over and falling apart, right? So I've got all that energy from taking care of myself properly by what I've learned through the DNA testing. And then I'm training properly and I'm supplementing properly. So, that's what this is all about. It's not about one thing. And this is not a 30-day beach body, 90-day insanity program. We're not trying to change your body in a short period of time. We're trying to change your insides out for the rest of your life so you could live longer. And as long as you do live, you're living a good life where no matter what your problems were before, you're able to overcome them.
Yeah, it definitely simplifies things. And like you said, the worldwide internet is kind of a scary place. You don't know where to start. You don't know who to listen to. And I think at the end of the day, your DNA, like, come on, guys. Like,
it's your blueprint. It's what makes you you. So you can't go wrong with that.
You can't go wrong. It won't change. So either you know it now or in 5 years, you're like, all right, I give. Like, I might as well figure out what my DNA says and what I'm just do it now.
Right.
Yeah, and you could choose certain aspects of it. You don't have to know, the predispositions, for example. If you don't want to, some people might not want to know that. They might give them anxiety or something, but you could do the other parts and we could go over like what supplements you need, what to test for, the vitamins, the exercise, the diet, like what type of foods to avoid. Like in your results, we're going over that. And I believe we're seeing that you process carbs more efficiently, I believe, or was it less?
Well, I have the fat gene, so
yeah, that's another thing that is.
No, what was interesting is dairy's fine, gluten's fine.
Yeah.
So those things that I'm 45 and in the past I've definitely been like, I need to avoid gluten. Like obviously, with MS, there is a reason. But in general, I feel like the mass majority of Americans are like, need to avoid gluten. Well, do you know why? Do you know why? Like if your DNA reads that you can't process. I can process it fine.
Yeah. A lot of people are just kind of taking a guess or just
listening. That's the problem, the one thing, and I've seen this in the MS community, there are great diets out there, I won't even mention any of them, but they're great diets, but they're blanket diets, everybody, you can't have dairy, everybody, you can't have gluten, everybody, you can't have grains, don't eat eggs because they're going to do this. In the meantime, if you got your DNA and you tested, you would know exactly, is that true? Okay. I found out that I'm like you, gluten, I can eat all the gluten I want. I don't because I don't eat a lot of carbs, but I can if I want. I can eat rice, I can eat eggs, I can even eat dairy if I want to some extent. There's some of it that is bothering me when I eat it. And it showed that type is going to affect me. But if I got grass-fed, really clean, even whey protein, which I stopped taking completely because it's a dairy product, and I also recommend, unless you're tested, don't use whey protein, don't use dairy. But again, I'm giving you an overall statement. if you test yourself, you'll know, do you really need to stop taking that whey protein that you love and go to plant-based or beef or whatever? These things are not guesswork. It's only guesswork if you don't know.
Right.
We educate you.
Right. And it's guessing in the gym too. Let's be real. Like, you're guessing what workout you should be doing, what you should be doing when you go to the gym. So
yeah, and you're following, Joe Expert or Mary the queen of.
You're like, why don't I look like these people?
Yeah. And they don't tell you, that they're taking, performance enhancing drugs too, so that they look that good. So when they're selling you something, they're all pumped up like that. Listen, I can't fake it. I'm 66. I'm not taking steroids. I train through Optimal Body at my age with MS, and I'm able to train like I was when I was 30 years old. Deric's trained with me. Our other son, who's in his 20s, is trained with me. Dad, slow down, man. I can't do this.
Yeah, I almost threw up once.
And it's a short, intense workout designed for me with Optimal Body Training.
Yeah. So what is everybody's next step? So say they're interested. What is the next step?
Deric, I'll let you answer that.
Yeah. So we'll have a special link, like a offer for them that they could click on to go to the page and check everything out, and they could sign up through there. If they sign up, we will send them a test, the DNA test to do, or if they already have their results, they've already done a test. We could help them get their raw DNA file and just give us the file, and then we could just do it right away. And then we'll run their report and everything, and we could book the consultation, go over everything. Once we get the results. Well, first when we get the results, we'll design the we'll see what they need for the supplements, vitamins, the training, the diet, all that stuff, and then we'll do the call and like go over it with them and everything. Yeah, and we give them the programs and everything.
They actually talk to us, Nikki. We don't pass this on to a bunch of people. We specifically talk to the people, and I know it's a lot of work for us, but we feel that we want to give everybody our attention. I'm the expert at what I do. Deric's the expert at what he does. We're not hiring some kids for $10 an hour to answer phone calls. So we are handling this and working with them. But Deric will give you a link, and you just click that link and it takes you right into the program to enroll.
Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, do you have any last words before we go?
Deric, I'll let you end it.
Yeah, I think I went over basically everything that I wanted to. So yeah.
Cool. All right. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us, and thanks for listening. And we will definitely include that in the show notes, and hope to see you all at Optimal Body.
Yep, and help them. So we're looking forward to it.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.